Okay, we have 20 seconds.
Love your buddy over there.
Oh yeah, little Muggy monster. And a big thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring this morning's KRIM Community Spotlight program. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Wednesday morning. Yes, it is hump day. The week is halfway over. Yay! And we have a lot of great festivities this weekend. One of them being the Electric Light Parade on Saturday. But there's also a couple events before that. We have the Chamber of Commerce Craft Fair on Saturday. Check out their Facebook page to get more information on that. Also, our KRIM Community Toy Drive movie is next Saturday. That's right, not this Saturday, next Saturday. But the Craft Fair is this Saturday before the Electric Light Parade. And this Friday is an event, and this is the first time that this event is being held, and it's the Payson Area Hometown Heroes Community Event. And here to tell us more about this event is Rick Hinkey. And Rick, I think you're really the one that we can say is responsible for this, aren't you?
I've warned folks that if I need to call my family back in Minnesota quickly to let me hide in their basement, that means it didn't work like I had hoped. But no, we're really excited about this, Chris. You know, as a retired military guy, and me too, the thing you learn in the military is, especially when you're brand new, your basic training is never volunteer for anything, right? I think if there's veterans listening today, and I know there are, they'll smile at that. Well, I kind of got volunteered. Our delightful editor of the Roundup, Alexis Beckman, I went to her I don't know, maybe now almost a year ago, and said, we're so divided. We're so kind of on other sides of each other, and yet I know so many wonderful people in town are doing so many great things, right, for the community. So let's highlight them. What do you think? And she looks at me and she smiles and she said, "Terrific idea. You're my newest columnist."
You weren't expecting that, were you?
Not quite, exactly. It wasn't really that I sort of violated that old military thing. Anyway, but it's been delightful. I've had a great chance about every 2 weeks to write a story about one or more of the organizations. And the focus, Chris, has really been, Payson can't function without all these amazing volunteers. It doesn't matter whether people want to work with kids, our four-legged friends at the Humane Society, the wild animals too. There's a great organization, Arizona Wild Rescue, that I talked with.
Oh, Delphia Strickland.
That's terrific. Anyway, so it just goes on and on and on, and you just see the smiles on these folks, and you see the satisfaction. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's really the golden rule of work. I mean, to be very honest with you, that's kind of what motivated me, is just, I see these folks living the life that they've been encouraged to live. We've all been, whether it's religious thing or whether it's just, just again, the golden rule in general, it just seems to make sense.
And you did what you said is so true. Our community, I don't want to imagine or think about what our community would be like without all of our incredible nonprofits and all of the people that volunteer that make those nonprofits happen and able to exist. Every nonprofit we get in here, and I was looking at the list of organizations that will be represented or recognized this Friday at this event, and all of them have been in here. We've interviewed or talked to, I believe I just see a couple that haven't connected with, but the ones that we have, it's all about the volunteers. They're volunteers, and they're so thankful for all of the volunteers that make it possible for them to accomplish their mission and do what they do.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would love for your listeners to think about this Friday from 3 until 5. And please come because I have 500 bags of cookies on my dining room table, and I don't need them to stay there. So there are treats that are going to be available for anyone that comes. But kind of, if folks would just sort of think about whether it's back to a Thanksgiving with family way back in the day, or whether it's those old-fashioned buffets that used to exist, those restaurants where you got all these wonderful choices, and here's a chance to come and see all these wonderful choices. On Friday, we'll have 16 different organizations, those that serve seniors, kids, the food bank, emergency services, fun stuff as well. They're all going to be there. And so you get a chance to say, thanks, right, to the volunteers, as well as maybe there's one of them that kind of appeals to you. Gee, I didn't know about that. Maybe I'd like to know more. Maybe I could spend a little time with them as well. So that's the spirit of it. That's the spirit of it.
And again, this event is this Friday, December 2nd, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Payson United Methodist Church, which is at 414 North Easy Street. And it is an event where you can learn more about the 16 nonprofits here in the Payson area, but also show your appreciation to them. Thank them for what they've done. Maybe you've been helped by one of these organizations, or as Rick said, you would like to possibly look into being a volunteer for one of these organizations, or you would like to donate to the organization. And I think this is great. It's just another way that we can highlight and showcase our wonderful nonprofit organizations and all of the volunteers, again, that contribute to these organizations and make it possible for the organizations to do what they do. And it's a great idea. It's so good. I'm glad that you went to Alexis, because especially whether it's in print, in our newspaper, or on the radio, on our Facebook page, wherever, social media, it's great to get positive positive news, positive information, just things that are positive, because there are so many great, wonderful, positive things that happen in our community every single day. And we really need to be aware of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a background way back in the day, military and otherwise, sort of in the media way back. And, unfortunately, bad news sometimes seems to sell better than good news. And yet there's good news everywhere, and it just doesn't get featured. So that's kind of what motivated me. Just a couple of quickie stories. I was helping a guy by the name of Jim Strojan with the Payson Flycasters. He teaches the kids at Julia Randall and the middle school every spring and fall, 7 weeks. And there was a young woman, young gal, I don't know, she's probably 10, 11 years old, and maybe a little mentally challenged, it doesn't matter, but the bottom line is, when I saw her catch a fish at the lake, there was a smile that it was bigger than her face. Then friends of mine and others are delivering Meals on Wheels, and every once in a while, I mean, they're the only, and for some of our seniors, they're the only contact some of those folks have. During the day, if there was a problem, the delivery person is going to figure that out, right? Then we got the homeless center, and I mean, just all sorts of places that people can go for help if they're in trouble, as well as positive stuff.
And I love what you put on the flyer here. If you love kids, animals, senior citizens, students seeking scholarships, veterans, and other residents in need, please come to this event.
Yeah.
Please come out. And I do want to go down the list.
Oh, sure.
You have the list of nonprofits that will be represented at the Payson Area Hometown Heroes community event, and that's this Friday from 3 to 5 at the Payson United Methodist Church, 414 North Easy Street. And we have Aspire Arizona Foundation, which provides scholarships for Payson high school students to earn college credit while still in high school at our community college, Gila Community College. And we've had Paul Brocker and Dr. Jan Brocker on, and others that are involved in the Aspire Foundation, and also some of the students. And that is what's great, is hearing their experience and them share how much it has benefited them, not just financially, but how it has encouraged them, given them confidence going into college. So that is a wonderful, wonderful program that I don't think anywhere else in the country, any other community has a program to this extent, to where they pay for everything for the student.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. So in some other states, what Aspire Arizona does is automatic. It's just part of the state education system. But boy, here in Arizona, it's not, and it is amazing. We've enjoyed having breakfast with some of the young ladies who are going through those programs, and they love it. And you can just see they're fired up. That education really is their answer. Yeah.
And then also Arizona Wild Rescue, and you mentioned them and the wonderful job that Delphia Strickland does with that organization, and wow, she is completely funded by the community, people that resonate with her cause and want to help her and her team.
Yeah.
So a great group there. And then Banner Health, volunteers supporting patients, families, and the medical staff. And Jennifer Lawless, I know she's been in here before. Something with that group I didn't realize, before COVID, she said they had approximately 150 volunteers, and they all went away when COVID hit, because obviously they couldn't have them in there, and that had such a big impact on the hospital. So it's great to see them coming back, and she said the numbers are increasing because they were really a part of their family. They're part of that family.
Yep, absolutely. I think she's back up to about 70. And what was really exciting for me to see it and get in the hospital and see them at work is they're standing there right beside the medical professionals, and and the volunteers are treated with huge respect.
Yes.
But it's a great partnership between the professional staff and the volunteers. And then, when you think about it, if you go in the hospital, you're a little nervous, and you're wondering about yourself or your loved one that might be there, and those volunteers out in the lobby are welcoming you in. It was a very inspiring day.
No, they do a wonderful job, Jennifer and her crew, with that volunteer program at Banner Payson Medical Center. Then Duger Ranch, therapeutic riding lessons for special needs children, and Dennis and Kathy Duker out there at Duker Ranch do an incredible job. They have a concert that's coming up soon that we don't have information on that yet. We'll get that and start sharing that with everyone. But I know they have a annual Christmas concert that they're going to be doing. Humane Society, we have them in once a month. Lucy and Nicole are co-directors over there, and they talk about their service to the community, what they do, and then all their volunteers that walk the dogs, come in, play with the cats, help the staff, help out in the store. They do so much for that organization. Lions Club of Payson, they provide eyeglasses, eye screenings in schools, and health fairs, college scholarships, road cleanups, estate sales, and more. So the Lions Club of Payson. Northern Gila County Historical Society, museum in Zandre Cabin and Green Valley Park, displays in the museum, and plus they have the store there. That's a wonderful place to take guests, family or friends, when they're visiting Payson, just to learn more about the area.
Did you know that way back in the day, Payson was famous as kind of a speakeasy town? You can find that out. And Julia Randall's classroom is up on the second floor. Yeah.
There you go. Learn about Payson Dew during Prohibition and what Payson Dew was. The Payson Flycasters, Gila chapter of Trout Unlimited, who teach students and adults fly fishing classes, promote native fish restoration and freshwater conservation. They also help the senior center, Trinkets and Treasures, and they have a section there where they sell fishing equipment, supplies, fly fishing.
Yep, that's actually with the Humane Society. Lucy and I and others from the club. We asked the community to come donate one weekend anything you got left over, toolboxes and fishing gear and all that stuff, and then the next weekend we clean it up. The next weekend then we offer it for sale to the community, and the money goes to, half of it goes to the support the native fish here locally. We're raising Apache and Gila trout here, thanks to Arizona Game and Fish and the great people at the hatcheries. But then the other half goes to the Humane Society.
That is great. And then Payson Helping Payson, they provide assistance to folks in crisis or emergency situations. Payson Homeless and Homeless Veterans Initiative, free meals to anyone 7 days a week, medical and mental health help, clothing, other necessities. They have an event coming up this Saturday as well, December 3rd, that we've been reading a public service announcement on that, so you can learn more about that and how you can help them. And Emily and Skylar Bryce doing a great job. Also Doreen Prine, who we were talking about before the program, she has really stepped in. Marie Fasano, just so many people, helping out with that program. Payson Senior Center, helping seniors maintain their independence, Meals on Wheels program, transportation, social interaction, wellness, the Trinkets and Treasure Store, and more. And we just had Debbie Steffens in yesterday, in fact,
cool.
And she was talking about everything that they have going on.
My wife won't allow me to go into any of these stores. She said you should have a store yourself, given what you have in the basement. But that's another story.
Then the St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank. They are a food bank that provides food and also emergency and financial help for people in the area. Student Weekend Food Program. This is one that I haven't really heard about, but it's providing food bags for students without food over the weekend, plus baseball or soccer shoes, shin guards, and more.
Chris, I can't. It's a surprise to me too. I didn't know too much about him either. But a friend of mine, turns out, is kind of one of the key players there, Tom Herbolsheimer. And this is done through the Methodist Church, but it's really a community activity. Believe it or not, we have 70 or more kids who have no food for the weekend. While they're in school, they get breakfast and lunch, right? But on the weekend, when they go home, they got nothing. So basically, this team gathers donations and then puts together literally bags of food so that the kids can go see their counselor on a Friday and take a bag of food home and get through until Monday. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow. And then Veterans Helping Veterans, and they provide all manner of support for veterans, claims, housing, work, looking for work, social connections. So Veterans Helping Veterans doing a great job helping veterans in our community. And then Rim Country for Ukraine, which they raise funds and awareness for the people of Ukraine. I know we've had them in a couple times on the program when they were doing benefit concerts and different events. So many wonderful organizations, and this is not it. We want to make sure people understand this is not it. This is the first time that you are doing this event. So I'm confident this list will grow because there are other nonprofits in the community that just haven't made it on this list yet, and it will grow because there are so many great organizations.
Well, I'm hopeful. I appreciate your optimism, Chris, and I hope the listeners are excited too. Because yes, there are other. I have a chance. I talked to the Christian Clinic. There's the Time Out Shelter. There's all sorts of the Humane Society. I mean the
Habitat.
Habitat for Humanity. How could I forget? I spent 6 years at the airport. Anyway, so there's many others, and I'm just trying to, on behalf of, get around and interview for the paper and whatever. So I'm hoping that the community will be excited about this, that will fill up the church and eat those cookies and go visit these good folks, and then that it becomes an annual event. It'd be great to expand this. Right now, it's kind of a do it do-it-yourself thing on my behalf. But I think it's something that I feel really terrific about being able to do it, to spend the time with these amazing people. So let's hope it catches on and maybe becomes, an annual event, and we expand the participation even further. It'd be great.
Oh, it definitely would. And again, the Hometown Heroes celebration, this event, and also this program sponsored by the Payson Roundup, plus local churches and community volunteers. And I tell you, it's great. I love the logo. You wow, you don't mess around, Rick. I don't know if you can see, and if you're watching on our KRIM FM Facebook page, Rick brought me a hat, that great hat, and also pins made up, hometown or Payson Hometown Heroes, right there. So
there's a pin for all the heroes that are going to be there, and then I do have a little card. So when you come, and if we've missed somebody, if we've missed an organization that you know about or an individual, there's going to be a little form you can fill out, to kind of a hint to me to follow up afterwards. So I hope to hear about folks that we haven't uncovered yet. So
yeah. And I think, you mentioned a couple of Time Out shelter, Habitat for Humanity, also Payson Community Kids.
Right.
They do so much for
huge.
For the children in the community. And there are so many. You really don't realize it until you sit down and you start thinking about the different organizations that are out there. And all of those organizations, again, rely on volunteers. So this is a great way to recognize all of the incredible volunteers that are in our community that help with these organizations, make them possible. And again, Payson Area Hometown Heroes community event, that is this Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Payson United Methodist Church, which is at 414 North Easy Street. And this event gives you the opportunity to come out and meet the people, the volunteers that are involved with these organizations. If you are new to the area, or you've been here a little while and you're in a position where you are able to volunteer,
right,
and you want to be involved with a nonprofit here in the community, this allows you to learn more, talk to some of the volunteers, ask questions, and see if it's a group that you'd want to be a part of.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of interviewing some folks over at the Presbyterian Food Bank, and there was a couple there, and they literally moved to Payson 30 days ago, and here they were. He was in the back room packing boxes, and she was out front greeting folks in need. So yeah, there's a way. And if you're not currently volunteering, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to give up my life, or it's not like that at all. These just a few hours sometimes, but the joyfulness, the sense of community that comes from doing good work with good people is very satisfying. All these folks are happy that they're doing what they're doing.
And I was just thinking of one, CASA of CASA of Gila County, and we've had Mariah Lance on. And there's individuals that volunteer as CASA reps, and they, do a great job standing up and being there for young people that need that representation. Exactly. There are, again, as we keep saying, so many people that help out in the community that volunteer. So if you're able to, it'd be great to see you this Friday at the Payson Area Hometown Heroes community event from 3 to 5 at the Payson United Methodist Church. Also wanted to say hello to, and commenting on our KRIM FM Facebook live video, Katie Parks up there in Strawberry with Bandits Restaurant and the Dirty Cowboy Saloon. She said, love that, Hometown Heroes. She loves the Hometown Heroes. And they do so much. Katie and her husband do so many fundraisers up there, help out so many people that are in need, help out different organizations. Also watching in Southern Illinois, our KRIM Facebook faithful viewer, Clifford Lane, and he says howdy, and Clifford is a as a Marine, and
Ah.
also works for the county sheriff's office as a dispatcher.
All
So
right.
thank you for your service and everything you do, Clifford.
Yeah, I'm an old Peoria boy, Clifford. So
Oh,
Oh
hey.
yeah, and relatives down there by Carbondale, down there in the south end. So yeah, I know it.
There you go. I know it's funny. It seems like there's I would say a quarter of our guests. There's a connection somehow between Clifford and the guests. Where Banner was on and they were talking, and he said, "Oh, I have a family that worked for Banner out there in Arizona," and then one of the Bud Huffman when he was on, and I think Bud's from Illinois, and he was in the Marine Corps, and they were talking and sharing, and hey, two Marines from Illinois, that served in Vietnam, and it's something.
Well, Chris, you are very well connected in the community, better than I am. So I hope you'll feed me suggestions as time goes on. Hey, you should ought to talk to so and so and so and so. I'd love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, you're welcome. And I know there'll be others as well. And if you're listening or watching on our KRIM FM Facebook page, please comment if you can think of an organization, a nonprofit here in the Payson area. Now this is Payson area, so northern rim country.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Love
Rim
strawberry and pine, absolutely. Star
Mhm.
Valley, whatever it takes. Yeah, I had the pleasure of interviewing the folks that run the brush pit up there.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
the Blattner brush pit. Well, there's pine strawberry fuel reduction.
Yeah, and that's the one I interviewed so far. And the Blattner pit was closed for the fall, but I'm going to catch them in the spring.
Yeah.
But again, great volunteers and really helping us fire-wise. I intend to go talk to the police reserve folks here and the fire folks. There's several volunteer organizations and groups that support them. So there's lots on my list as we go forward.
Yeah. Friends of the library.
Yep.
A wonderful group that has done so much for our Payson Public Library.
Yep.
I forget Mugion. I forget what the organization's name is actually, because Mugion Valley Pit Program is the Blattner Brush Pit. That's their nonprofit.
Cool.
So so many groups. Golly.
Yeah.
So let Rick know. Again, you can comment on our Facebook feed. Is there? You can email.
Yeah.
Email. And if you want to give that.
Sure. It's just azhometownheroes@gmail.
There we go.
So happy to hear from you, and whether you're with an organization per se or just an individual with a suggestion, please let me know. We'll keep a list for the future, and keep an eye out for the roundup stories, but also love to see this event grow and become fun and useful for everybody from now on. And look forward to volunteers to help make this happen.
Yes. And when does this column? When does your column?
Well, I write them up, and Alexis, based on wherever the newspaper is at that particular point, decides. But they've been running roughly every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So there's a news story about, and I try to focus on the volunteers, of course, thanking them and raising them up. But then, obviously, we talk about the organization and what that does for the community as well.
Yeah, the role of the organization. Oh, that is great. Well, thank you so much, Rick, for coming on this morning, and I look forward to the event on Friday. Again, I hope you can make it out to show your appreciation to these organizations, the volunteers, but also to learn more. It will be just a great event where you can learn more about each of these organizations, what they do, and if you would like to, join the group, be a part of what they have going on.
Cookies, remember
And
the
there's
cookies.
500 bags of cookies. That number, it's stuck in my head, Rick. I can't forget it. I'm trying not to think about it because cookies sound good right now. Dipping in some coffee. Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Rick,
My
for
pleasure.
coming on.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Hope you have a great Wednesday. Time to get back to the music with some Donnie Iris, Hall & Oates, Neil Young, Dr. Hook, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
Payson and surrounding areas. I'm now
Yeah, there we go. And see you later, guys. Have a wonderful